Hey guys, how's it going? This is Tom Burkart for Car Revs Daily, going out in a quick drive with the 2015 Lexus ES350. You know, this is a pretty familiar car to a lot of drivers and of course people on the road, because it is one of Lexus's best-selling models and has had a really consistent appearance for the last 5 years or so. So for 2015, the vehicle is, continues as a 268 horsepower V6 with a 6-speed automatic, and it's also the ES is also available with a hybrid powertrain that we actually got to drive a few months ago and loved on the highway. I mean, it was so smooth and so quiet. It's just like it was, so amazing on a road trip to Atlanta from Charleston, South Carolina, where we are now. But getting in the gasoline-powered version, which has a base price of $37,000, it's still a really, really impressive vehicle. It has a lot of scale for, you have a big back seat for that level of pricing, and also a really, really impressive level of luxury. So we just flipped into sport mode. Let's do traction control off. We'll do a quick start. Okay, that's 60. Very rare for ES350s to be doing burnouts and just random 0 to 60 times, but it does feel quick and it feels urgent. It has really good throttle response. Just the classic smooth and chill types of around town maneuvers. But if you do want to drive it fast or drive it hard, I mean, let's see, like this vehicle has the optional 18-inch wheels in a liquid silver finish, which are pretty cool. They look good. They're really bright. They're like a really bright silver, so it's more, traditional versus the latest chicness, which is like a dark silver, or even the gloss black wheels in the ES350 crafted line, which is new for 2015. It has a base price of about $43,000. That comes with two pieces of Toomey luggage and a new, like, super bright white paint. It looks really good. It looks good. I mean, for a car that's been on the market for 5 years now, the ES350 has held its design really, really nicely. We have sort of a newly refined nose with the spindle grille, of course, and the arrowhead lighting, and for the DRLs, and we also have LED fog lamps on this vehicle, which are nice. I mean, they look good and they allow the car to have sort of a really similar level of all the lights are sort of the same white, which is nice. We have just regular projector beams actually for the low beams and high beams on this ES350, which is not great. I mean, it's not the chicest thing in the world, especially versus the new Lexus options on the RC and the NX with the triple LED low and high beams that are really, really cool and also have like amazing lighting properties. So, that's one place where the ES350 is showing its age just a teeny bit. But overall, the vehicle is still just like, it's just so good. I mean, you could drop like a lot of people who had been driving, let's say, like a BMW 7 Series or an S-Class from just a few years ago into this car, and they would feel like they had full-size levels of luxury, roominess, tranquility, quietness. It's not sort of in the same league as the latest 7 Series and S-Class and A8 in terms of it's just like really easy to drive, and though it has a lot of technology, it's not as daunting, and it doesn't have a big learning curve like those German vehicles do. I mean, these days, even the shifter and the, getting out of park in an S-Class or a 7 Series, like, will take, for people who aren't like hardcore car enthusiasts, you have to be taught how to do that stuff, which is kind of silly, especially versus the ES350, which just offers, much of that luxury in just a really simple package. So we're on just like country roads right now. We're behind like some trucks and stuff, so we can't go too bananas. But overall, I'm really, really pleased with how the ES350 is just a great value proposition for people who want a flawless luxury car with some of the best quality, both in assembly and durability, as well as some of the best resale value. I mean, Lexus just won I think it was KBB.com's the best residual values for, you know, like the 4th year in a row or something. And you can see why, because these cars are just, they're just great. They're great from day one, and they stay that way. They don't need, you know, a massive maintenance budget, or they don't cause any worries about, you know, sophisticated systems that might fail. They're just sort of like perfect as they are. So that's nice. So we have we're running like a little bit of a decibel sound test, and these are like notoriously unreliable just on my iPhone. And so with just in a parking lot before we started filming, I want to emphasize like how quiet and chill the ES350 is. It's not quite as relaxed as the ES300H, especially around town, where the ES300H has that CVT that's just like really, really smooth, and it flips into EV mode really enthusiastically. You know, you always have sort of the V6 on hand for the gasoline-powered ES, but that also means you have a lot more power and a lot more speed. It's about 1.5 seconds quicker than the ES300H to 60 miles an hour, and you can definitely tell with the 6-speed automatic. I mean, if you're a keen driver, as they say, you will definitely prefer the gasoline model. It also has a bigger trunk, but you know, it's neither here nor there. So with just like stopped in the parking lot with the decibel meter, with the vehicle off, we were pulling up like between 53 and 55 decibels with the phone mounted, just as we are right now. And it's really hard to get a good reading. I mean, it's like flying all over the place, mostly like in the 80s right now. But you know, in terms of like the level of, and most of that noise is tire noise. We're at like 55 miles an hour, tire noise and like road noise. But overall, it feels very well damped, with really good quality for all of the cabin fixtures. I mean, this thing is like rock solid in terms of like, you know, it's just a really high quality vehicle in all of those senses. With a modern dash layout, we've got some really cool technology. We have a $1,000 Lexus navigation upgrade for this car, as well as a bunch of other like safety upgrades that bump the as tested price to about $45,000 for this 2015 ES350. And some of those I would skip. I mean, the lane departure assist is just sort of beeps. It doesn't appear to move the vehicle back into its lane. We also have blind spot warning, and with cross traffic assist. What are the other options? As well as automatic high beams, which are great. This is such a good feature. Every car should have this, or every luxury car especially. So when you have that on, you can engage it with a button over here, and then when you flip your high beams on, they just automatically disengage when it sees the light of an oncoming car. It's so great. I mean, especially for like country roads around where I live, where you really want your high beams on all the time, but if you're driving down like a 20-mile stretch of road, you know, you're gonna have to be like flipping your high beams on and off like every 2 minutes, you know, at least, which is kind of irritating. And once you have the auto high beams, you're like, you never want to go back to a car without them. So that's a cool feature. We also have $1,000 premium seat package that includes heated and cooled seats, and I think like an extended leather. Yeah, so this, you know, the sides of the seats are leather, and you know, there's just more leather for the optional seats. These are 10-way power adjustable front driver's side and passenger side, which is nice. I mean, it's nice. And this is like a value. This is a luxury car that majors on delivering incredible luxury at like a really affordable price. So in that regard, it's good to have, you know, both power seats instead of just the driver's seat. And those are great, but there is another option for the ES. I mean, the seats are comfortable and they have like a good range of adjustment. You have a power-operated tilt and telescoping steering wheel here. It doesn't come out too far, which is a little disappointing, but it is, you know, just very comfortable and chill. Really easy to get into a good driving position. The one thing is there is another premium package for the ES that has like an additional seat bolster that becomes like an adjustable seat base length, if that makes sense. Sort of like the BMW and Mercedes idea that's now been adopted by Lexus. because it's really, really nice and makes the car just so much more comfortable. So that adds, like, you know, and it's power adjustable in ESs that are equipped with it, and it can just extend the base of the seat out, you know, 2 or 3 inches. It makes the seats a lot more comfortable, I have to say. So I wish this vehicle did have that, but I mean, overall, if you are talking about like maximum bang for your buck in terms of luxury, both in a sense of like refined, classy, understated style, interior roominess, I mean, a great sense of cabin width, really good technology, you know, a good navigation system with sort of a 3D bird's eye view, great touch controls all around, memory seats, a big back seat, big trunk. It's really hard to beat the ES350 at its game. And it's a pretty unique market offering. When you think of a vehicle this size, you would have to be like, it's bigger than the 5 Series inside, but obviously just much cheaper. So you'd really have to get into sort of like the Audi A6 type of range, which bases at like about $48,000 to $50,000. So the ES350, you know, owns it. It does its thing well, and it knows what it wants to be. So in that regard, it's still a highly recommended vehicle. Just like effortless luxury with no training manual and no like weird tech quirks like a lot of the big German barges these days. So it's great. I mean, I would give it like an 8 out of 10 in terms of like who I would recommend this car to. And it's definitely like, you know, it's an older client base, but you know, let's not be jerks about it.